Ever wondered how a tiny nation on the island of Borneo became one of the wealthiest countries in the world? The story of Brunei is a fascinating tale of ancient kingdoms, golden empires, colonial struggles, and the discovery of black gold. Let's journey back in time and uncover the epic history of Brunei Darussalam, the abode of peace. Our story begins over 1,000 years ago, along the winding rivers of northern Borneo. Long before it was a sultanate, the area we now call Brunei was a collection of thriving coastal communities. Archaeological finds, like ancient Chinese ceramics and beads, tell us that these early settlements were bustling hubs of trade. Imagine longboats gliding down the Brunei River, carrying precious goods like camphor, birds' nests, and spices. These early Bruneians were master seafarers, connected to a vast maritime network that stretched from China to the Middle East. They weren't just isolated villages, they were a key part of the vibrant tapestry of Southeast Asian trade, laying the groundwork for the powerful kingdom that was to come. By the 14th century, something incredible began to happen. These scattered settlements started to coalesce into a formidable maritime power. This was the birth of the Bruneian Empire. A pivotal moment in this transformation was the arrival of Islam. Legend has it that the first ruler, Awang Alak-Bidatar, embraced the new faith and became Sultan Muhammad Shah. This conversion wasn't just a religious change, it was a political masterstroke. Adopting Islam connected Brunei to the powerful Islamic world, boosting its prestige and trade connections. The capital moved to the water, creating the famous Kampong Ayer, a sprawling water village that amazed early European visitors. This was Brunei's golden age. At its peak in the 15th and 16th centuries, the Bruneian Empire was a force to be reckoned with. Its influence stretched across the entire island of Borneo and even reached the southern Philippines. The empire controlled key trade routes, its wealth built on the control of maritime commerce. The legendary fifth sultan, Bolkiah, known as the Nakoda Ragam or the Singing Captain, is remembered for his extensive voyages and military prowess. Under his rule, the empire reached its greatest extent. Palaces were built, arts flourished, and the rule of the sultan was absolute. For a time, it seemed like Brunei's power was unstoppable, a dominant force in the region's complex political landscape. But as the 16th century dawned, new ships appeared on the horizon. These were the galleons of Europe, first from Portugal, then from Spain. The arrival of Ferdinand Magellan's fleet in 1521 marked the beginning of a new era. At first, relations were based on trade. Europeans were captivated by the wealth and sophistication of the Sultan's court. But soon, commercial interests turned into colonial ambitions. Spain, based in the nearby Philippines, saw Brunei as a rival. The infamous Castilian War of 1578 saw Spanish forces briefly occupy the capital, a shocking blow to the empire's prestige. Though the Spanish were driven out by disease and local resistance, the conflict marked the beginning of a long decline. The empire began to shrink, slowly losing its vast territories to encroaching European powers. The 19th century brought a new player to the scene, Great Britain. A charismatic and ambitious Englishman named James Brooke arrived in the region and helped the Sultan quell a rebellion in Sarawak. As a reward, he was granted control of the territory and became the first White Raja of Sarawak. This was a major turning point. Over the following decades, the Brooke dynasty and the British North Borneo Company steadily expanded their territories, chipping away at Brunei's land until it was reduced to two small, separate enclaves. The once mighty empire was on the verge of disappearing completely. To prevent this, Sultan Hashim Jalalul Alam Akamadan sought help from the British. In 1888, Brunei officially became a British protectorate. While this saved Brunei from being completely absorbed by its neighbours, it also meant giving up control of its foreign affairs. The British residency system, established in 1906, further solidified British influence, with a British resident advising the Sultan on all matters except those concerning Islam and Malay custom. For the first few decades of the 20th century, Brunei remained a quiet, relatively poor British protectorate. The economy was based on traditional agriculture and fishing. But everything changed on a fateful day in 1929. Deep in the coastal district of Syria, prospectors struck oil. It wasn't just a small find, it was a massive reserve of petroleum. This discovery of black gold would fundamentally reshape Brunei's destiny. The first commercial oil wells began pumping in the 1930s, and suddenly, wealth began to pour into the Sultanate's coffers. The oil and gas industry boomed, especially after World War II, which saw a brief but harsh Japanese occupation. The revenue from these resources was staggering, transforming Brunei from a sleepy backwater into a nation with immense potential. This newfound wealth fueled a period of rapid modernization. Under the visionary leadership of Sultan Omar Ali Saifuddin III, often called the architect of modern Brunei, the country underwent a dramatic transformation. The oil money was used to build infrastructure, roads, schools, hospitals, and a magnificent new mosque that bears his name. Education became a priority, with free schooling provided to all citizens. A comprehensive welfare system was established, offering free healthcare and subsidized housing. The standard of living skyrocketed. This was a carefully managed modernization, one that aimed to improve the lives of the people while preserving Brunei's unique cultural and religious identity. The Sultan wisely resisted pressure to join the newly formed Federation of Malaysia in 1963, choosing instead to chart Brunei's own course. After decades as a British protectorate, the moment finally arrived. On the 1st of January, 1984, Brunei Darussalam resumed full political independence. Sultan Hassan al-Bolkiah, who had ascended to the throne in 1967, led his nation into a new era of sovereignty. He announced that Brunei would be governed by the philosophy of Malayu Islam Baraja, or Malay Islamic monarchy. This concept intertwines Malay culture, Islamic faith, and the political system of the monarchy, forming the bedrock of Brunei's national identity. It's a philosophy that guides everything from law to social etiquette, emphasizing harmony, stability, and respect for tradition. This unique system has guided Brunei's development as an independent nation, ensuring continuity while navigating the challenges of the modern world. So, what is Brunei today? It's a peaceful, stable, and prosperous nation with one of the highest standards of living in Asia. Its economy is still heavily reliant on oil and gas, but there's a strong push towards diversification, with a focus on finance, technology, and ecotourism. The government continues to provide extensive social services, ensuring a high quality of life for its citizens. Culturally, Brunei remains deeply rooted in its traditions. You can see it in the enduring splendor of Kampong Ayer, the respect shown to the Sultan, and the central role of Islam in daily life. On the world stage, Brunei is an active member of ASEAN and other international organizations, known for its quiet diplomacy and commitment to regional stability. From a humble trading post on a Borneo river to a mighty empire, from a struggling protectorate to a wealthy and independent nation, the history of Brunei is a testament to resilience, adaptation, and wise leadership. It is a story of how a small nation navigated the powerful currents of history to not only survive but thrive. The journey of the abode of peace is far from over, as it continues to balance its rich heritage with the demands of a rapidly changing world. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this journey through Brunei's history, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories from around the globe. See you in the next video.